had that fire burning. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. I got you too. I got a new ring light. Is my face look funny?
Your face looks fine.
No, the color
We are
looks kinda
going
weird on
live in
mine.
5,
I
4,
thought it live
3,
popping on TV.
2, 1. Shalom, covenant keepers and children of Israel. You're listening to Awaken to Torah Ministries, where spirit and truth converge. We are a listener-supported ministry and ask that you prayerfully consider supporting this work. This ministry is focused on revealing the message of Torah as taught by our Jewish Messiah, Yeshua. Your donation will be used to further a ministry devoted to exposing the lies that we have inherited from our forefathers, as Jeremiah 16:19 clearly declares. You can contact us at 77690 South 4680 Road, Stillwell, Oklahoma 74960, or join our mailing list at awakentotorah@gmail.com. We look forward to meeting you when we once again are sheltered by a cloud by day and a fire by night on our way to Jerusalem. Shalom Aleichem, and we'll see you there. Shabbat Shalom and welcome to the Tents of Israel. I'm your host, James Gillespie. As always, we have Ryan Knoll and Chris Jones with us tonight. Ryan wasn't able to join us last week, so we're glad he's here this week, or actually week before last, because last week we were at Fifth Sabbath. So let me bring those guys on the screen. We're not going to do a whole lot of scripture tonight, just whatever the Father brings into our heads as we're talking, because I just want to kind of do. I mean, like I went over to Chris's house and we're sitting in the kitchen talking about all the crazy stuff we talk about. Sometimes me and Chris and Ryan, we can sometimes go down deep rabbit trails or deep holes, one or the other, whichever one you want to call. But as you can see, Chris got him a new. Let me move my there, kind of evened me up on the screen there, so I'm a little bit more even with those guys. But this week, since the first of the year, it just seems like the world has gone crazy, and we've had earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, aliens popping up in malls in Florida. The whole thing's just it's the world's crumbling around us, and we don't know what is real and what is not real. I remember a few years ago, Chris, we were talking about the Mandela effect, and I remember, I remember telling my brother Wayne about the Mandela effect, and he was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Those are false memories. And then it seems like it's funny because you start going through all these Mandela effects, and then there's one thing. There's always this one thing that somebody will remember, and they're like, okay, no, I do remember that way. I don't remember it the other way. And so it sets them on this same path that we're on with this whole Mandela effect. So I'll let you guys say hi real quick since you're on screen. Chris on top, Ryan on the bottom. Can y'all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is there some kind of lag or something? I don't know what's going on here because I can hear myself repeating back on somebody's mic.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ryan. I can't hear James. Can you?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I got James on the.
Okay. So y'all hold on a second. You and Chris just keep talking.
I can't hear you, James. Somebody just texted and said you're talking to me. I can't hear you.
It's showing his mic's muted on my side.
Yeah, he
All
must be
right.
muted on
Now,
my
can
side
you hear
too.
me now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man,
All
we
right.
got you loud and clear.
So, I had to fix my settings there. Okay, so David says he can hear us all.
Okay, good.
Anyways, what I was talking about, now that you guys can hear me, is I said, several years ago, we started talking about the Mandela effect with each other. And it's funny how when we start talking about the Mandela effect, most people will just say, nah, that's false memories. You got a false memory about this and you got a false memory about that. But then you start going through the list of Mandela effects that we've discovered over the years, and it always seems like there's this one thing that sticks out to the person you're talking to, and they'll go, no, I remember that this way. And they normally remember it the same way you do or the same way that I do. And then it starts them down this whole rabbit hole that we've been on for a while. And we all get told that we're crazy and false memories and all the other kind of crazy stuff that comes with it. Well, I remember telling my brother Wayne about the Mandela effect, and he was kind of one of those ones that's like, that's all, I could be either way. It could be either way. I'm not going to swear to anything. But then knowing that my brother Wayne is a movie buff, and he used to just every movie that he could consume, he would just consume it as soon as it came out. Well, there was this movie called Shazam. And I remember he and I watched it together when I was young. We were down in Texas, and he had went to the movie theater. I think he was 16 or 17 years old. He was working for a music company down there, CNS Music. And after work, he would go rent some movies every once in a while. So he'd rented this movie, Shazam. And we watched it together with my parents there at their house. And so I brought that movie up, Shazam, to him. And, he's like, yeah, I remember that movie. And I'm like, well, who was the main star in it? Of course, he said Sinbad. Sinbad was the main star in it. And he, tells the whole story. I said, okay, now that you've told me the same story that I remember, that movie never existed in this reality. And he's like, whatever. So he gets online and he starts looking it up. And sure enough, in that reality at that time, it never had existed. So I'm going to jump over to a Samsung screen here because I discovered something this week. And I want everybody to take a look at this real quick and just tell me what you see, if I can find it. Okay, I found it. So let me jump over to that screen real quick and let everybody watch that.
I don't hear any volume.
Yeah, I don't. The volume's not playing on the video, James.
Okay.
IT, they need to get their stuff in order tonight. We must not be paying them enough, James.
Can you hear it now?
No.
No.
No, but
Okay.
that's that scene, right? Yeah.
So I don't know why it's not playing, but just watch the scene and I'll explain it here in just a second. The Berenstain Bears spelled right.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Mandela dead at 68. Yeah. Okay, so let me jump back over here on this screen. Skype call. All right, so basically what that was is that was a clip out of the movie Sinbad. They have found several copies of this movie that now Sinbad himself said didn't exist. So now they found several copies of it, and they played this one clip that had that confirmed several of the Mandela effects to be true. The monocle on the Monopoly guy, the Berenstain Bears, not the Berenstain Bears. The Carmen Sandiego wearing a yellow jumpsuit and not a purple one. The monkey on the tail on George the monkey. It was there on that book. Nelson Mandela dead at 68, like most of us remember. So that one clip had all of these different Mandela effects confirmed in it, and basically the guy at the end says, what is it? Is it time travel? Did somebody go back and put all of those into these movies? Because they knew that the Mandela effect would be at someone. The original guy there at the beginning of that, he says that he believes that there are different timelines that are converging, different dimensions that are bumping into each other, and some of these things are being able to be proven now. I don't know that there's any validity to any of it. I have a clip in here that I'm going to play of CERN when they turn CERN up and what it's doing to the skies above CERN. there's some crazy stuff going on, guys.
Mm.
I know that y'all have been paying attention. It's like this. It's like our spiritual ears have just, like somebody just took the earplugs out, and I don't know. It's like my spirit is on hyper aware right now, and it has been for a few weeks. Chris, Ryan, y'all feeling the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Like-
just an
like you-
just a anticipation or a sense of urgency.
Yeah, like you don't know what is going on, but you know everything is going on at the same time. I mean, like, like if it's just swirling around us. I believe that every morning I have been being woken up with words of prophecy, and now I'm just seeking the Father, saying, "Hey, do you want me to put these things out? Do you want me to speak them, or are they for me, or because everything that I'm seeing going on in the spirit, waking up, with these words in my head." They're not my words. They're not thoughts that I would normally think of. They're just not. So understanding that frequency and spiritual matters and all of those things are coming to pass as we speak. It's just this hyper awareness that is happening, and it seems to be getting stronger. For me, it started about mid-November. I don't know when it started for you guys, and it just seems to have steadily increased. And now it's to the place that I don't know. I'm waiting for a nuclear bomb. It seems like everything spiritually is so tense around me right now that I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you guys are feeling that same tension.
I don't know. I don't know about that level.
It's
Nope. I don't know. I mean, it definitely something going on in my small, existence here, but yet on the global scale, we can just seems like everybody is anticipating something. It's just so much anticipation, and we just so much not knowing what's really ahead.
well, I think that if we have correctly interpreted the scriptures, because I never want to come out and say God said unless God said. That's one word that you'll never hear out of my mouth unless Yahweh literally says, "James, you tell them I said." Because I can 100% believe and know that it's coming from him. But if he doesn't tell me to tell you that he told me, I ain't telling you that, because let a false word come from me, but his word be true. So if I have correctly interpreted his word, I believe that we have about 13 years before Satan is chained in the pit. I think this 13-year period that we're running up to right now is going to be crazy. And there's going to be this huge separation that is coming. And God is starting to make known who his real children are and who the children of the enemy are. And there's coming this rift in between the two, like a chasm that we can't bridge anymore. We can't pretend to be part of the world anymore if we belong to him. I believe that it's that rip is starting to come, and not only is it coming, we don't want to look like the world anymore. We don't want to act like the world anymore. We don't want those things anymore, because his spirit is becoming more alive in us. And I believe that the more that spiritual awakening happens, the more that we're going to start seeing these lies exposed. I played that TikTok video there. Let me see if anybody in the chat room. Let me go back to there. Did anybody in the chat room hear the video playing?
No, I don't think so.
So if you're in the chat room and you heard the video playing, type 1, please. Okay, so nobody's typing, so evidently there's a big lag, or nobody's listening to me.
Let's see. Robin couldn't hear the video, and Hooven couldn't hear the video.
Okay,
And
so nobody could hear the video, huh? So let me, because I'm hearing the video perfectly in my ears. So you guys hold on right there for just a second. I am going to, I'm going to X out of this screen, and well, I don't know if I can do that. Let me see if I can do this. Audio video settings. Okay, my mic is working. It looks like everything is working the way it's supposed to work, but I want everybody to be able to hear these videos, because it's kind of pointless to play them if you can't hear what's being said. Okay, so let me test the audio. Everybody hear that?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, so let's see. Okay. Can you hear this now? Did you?
No. Oh, Hooven said yeah. Okay, so maybe let's see.
Okay, so now maybe I got that set where it will work. Hooven, can you hear me? Sorry, every time they change, I don't know why they have to change this OBS all the time, but they keep updating it, and every time they update it, for some reason my sound settings get messed up. So hopefully when I play the video here in a second, you guys will be able to hear that as well.
Yeah, I think you've got it. IT Glenn Hoffman and IT Hooven and James Gillespie. They got it.
Okay, so let me jump over here to one of these videos, and we'll see if anybody can hear it. I'll play that same video again. Can y'all hear that?
That's fine. We're still fine. About a 15-second lag.
Can you hear it now?
No, everybody says no. Don't see either.
Can you hear it now?
I don't hear anything. No.
Okay, so let me shut that down, and we'll go back to the Skype call. Okay, so it might just be that video. If not, then I will narrate these videos for you. I don't know why the sound's not working on them for some reason. The sound's working for everything else, but evidently not for the videos. So maybe you're supposed to hear my voice and not them. So everybody's hearing only my voice and not the videos. Okay, so I can see it as I'm watching it back, so evidently the sound is not playing, it's not coming through the speakers there. Okay, so let's test. Okay, so that's picking it up. Okay, well, I'll figure it out next time. But I want to keep rolling with this, so I'm going to jump back over to that screen, and you guys can watch it, and I will narrate it as it's happening. Okay. I think that that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, we don't have a show. So, Chris and Ryan, I'm going to jump in, and anytime you see something in one of these videos that we've talked about, or you feel like you want to comment on, you just jump in there as well, okay? And I'll just jump over there and start narrating. Okay, so let me pull them videos back up. This video right here. So, can anybody hear that? Chris, can you hear that one?
Not yet. It takes about 10 or 15 seconds. Because it's just now saying, let me pull those videos back up as far as everybody else watching. What's weird is Courtney said that she could hear the first video. She was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't hear it, James. I don't see it. It just shows the screen with 3 videos at the top left, it looks like.
Sounds great. I'm gonna pull this video back over here to that screen, and that'll pull us back on screen here. But what that guy was talking about is evidently a few days ago in Miami, in one of the malls in Miami. Me and Ryan was talking about this earlier, and actually all 3 of us were talking about this earlier in text. But there was this shooting that was going on in this mall in Miami, and 50 to 100 police cars show up at this mall, and the reports are that there are 8 to 10 foot gray, silverish looking beings inside the mall, and it's freaking people out so much they're taking out their pew-pews and shooting at these things inside the mall. YouTube, everything we're doing here tonight is for educational, and let's just call it satire. We'll call the whole show satire. So everything we say here is satirical. Or that's my air quotes in the air, okay? So we don't get hammered by.
I've been James. So does you have to say pew pew now? Because I've been hearing people say that you can't say 3-letter words.
Yeah, you can't. You can't say the other one anymore. You get dinged by the algorithm.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to keep up with this. All right.
Yeah, and you have to say unalived. You can't say the other word either. So.
Oh, really? Oh, they unalived them. Oh.
Yeah, they were trying to unalive these 8 to 10 foot silver beings, but then after the police get there, the news media comes out. Now, mind you, originally when this happened, Ryan will verify this. The news report was that they had shut down the airports, that they had closed down the mall, they shut down power in the area. All of this stuff was going on, and then the backstory was that there was a bunch of kids with sticks in the mall threatening shoppers. That's why 100 police cars showed up at a mall. It's over some kids with some sticks, and helicopters, and shut down the power to the area and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna play that video again real quick with that information, and you just watch what's playing out here. Okay, I know some of you can't hear it, so if you with that information, just kind of pick out what you can pick out. So I'm going to jump back over to that screen now. Look at all those police officers. Hundreds of them. over a few kids with some sticks.
Yeah, and evidently they had shut down the airport in that area too. There was no air traffic allowed,
Yeah.
except for one police helicopter or something like that.
Yeah, there was police helicopters flying everywhere, but no other air
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to pause that right there and jump back over to this screen. So here's the thing, guys. Now, I've been around this for a while. So you have all these people in the mall, and I don't care if you let a fart on Main Street, somebody's got a video of it nowadays. And they're going to use it to blackmail you. So the first thing that happens when something is going on, everybody whips out their cell phones and starts videoing. Here's my question: is if it was an 8 to 10 foot something's running around inside that mall, where's the video of the kids with the sticks? Where's that video?
I mean, you have surveillance cameras. I mean,
there's surveillance cameras everywhere in that mall. With it, I mean, if you seriously,
well,
with this being,
that's why I thought about it, because juveniles, you can't disclose their identity, and you couldn't show their faces on camera. So it's a pretty good, likely story to say that it was juveniles, because that protects their identity.
Well, here's the thing about that. The law states that if you're in public, there is no given right to privacy. So I can record everybody in public because there is no right to privacy no matter what your age is. So I can perform a police or video a police officer doing his job, and there's nothing he can say about it. There's nothing he can do about it. I could record the FBI. It might not be smart to do so, but you could.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you might have somebody knocking on your door the next morning if you're being, let's just say, anal retentive with them.
Yeah.
and recording them against their will. They might have somebody showing up at your house, with some trumped up charges the next day. So it's not advisable, but you can. So here's the thing. If it was kids, where's that video? And why is there 100 police officers for some kids with some sticks? Okay, I promise you, me, Ryan, and Chris could probably go in and subdue, I don't know, 15 or 20 kids with sticks. We could probably do that. So,
especially if we had a couple pew-pews with us,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got a couple. All of us, we're coming in loaded. We're police officers. We're coming in loaded, and we're surrounding a group of kids, teenagers, let's say, with sticks. I think we could subdue quite a few of them pretty fast.
Yeah, I think so.
Where's the video? That's all I'm saying. So the guy that comes out, there was numerous videos that got released immediately that got taken down. Why is there a media blackout on this story? I mean, this is a huge story. So why is there a media blackout on it? I don't know if y'all remember, a few months ago we did one where the spaceship supposedly landed in the guy's backyard in Arizona.
Yeah.
That all of that footage is gone. All of this footage is gone. But now I'm gonna play the second part of this video, because everything they said didn't happen, and I want you to watch when they zoom in on the camera down in front of the mall. There is something a lot bigger than a normal human being standing in front of this police officer's car. I don't know what that is, but because it's an aerial view, looks like it was shot from a drone. So I don't know what that is, but you judge for yourself, okay? I'm gonna jump over there and play that video for you. A lot of people have seen this lady on TikTok, Christian lady. Seemed like a good human being. Can anybody hear that one? Let me jump over there.
You talking about an auntie?
Yeah. I'll pause it when it gets to that place so people can actually look at it. So she's telling the story about the Miami police officers being dispatched to the mall. Okay, right here she says that there's multiple witnesses that claim to see 8 to 10 feet creatures inside the mall. They don't know what they are. Of course, we would call them Nephilim or something like that. That's what I believe she calls them here in a minute. But people were so freaked out. She's saying people were so freaked out about it, they were grabbing their pew-pews and shooting at these things inside the mall. And that's why hundreds of police officers began to swarm the mall. Which sounds more plausible than a few kids with some sticks. Just the way I'm thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. See this, whatever this is right here? They're saying that that is something. But then look right here. Pause. Let me go back. Let me pause it right there. If you look right here, up by this sign, something huge is coming out of this mall right here. I'm gonna play it back just a little bit more, but then watch that again. Everybody see that? Did you see that, Chris?
Yeah, I saw it earlier. It looked
Whatever that
over
is,
there.
that is huge. Huge.
Oh, you know, I was looking at the one that was down in front of the steps.
Front of the steps.
No,
Yeah, I was looking at that right there, right off the front of that car.
watch.
Right below
I'm
that
gonna roll
light.
it back one more
There's something
time,
below this.
and watch how
Huh.
tall this thing almost as tall as the building. Watch it walking out of here, okay? And it's clearly walking. Let's try it again. Did you see it that time?
Hmm.
One more time. Did you see it? It starts
Hard
right
to see
here
on the-
and it walks right out there. Now there's something huge in front of that police car, but this right here is about twice as tall as whatever that is. So, and you can tell that it's walking, you just can't tell what it is because of the view, okay? Whatever it is has two legs. It's moving like a human would move, and it's super tall. So I think it lends more credibility to the people, the eyewitnesses' story that they saw things, 8 to 10 feet tall, and it wasn't kids walking on stilts playing with sticks. So go back and play it.
Interesting.
Okay, she's zooming in on the one in front of the car.
Yeah.
And then this one right here. And then you see this walking out right here. Okay, she said, "Ooh, the men in black are sweating it now." Because something's going on there. I'm going to jump back over to the screen with us, guys. So something clearly is happening there. I don't know why the cover up. I don't know if it was really 8 to 10 foot people. It sounds more feasible than some kids with some sticks. I mean, that story doesn't make sense at all. So I'm not saying it was Nephilim either. I'm just saying, why are they covering this story up? There's something there. There's something there that they're hiding. And if the eyewitnesses are telling the truth, which what I mean, honestly, what do they have to gain or to lose by all of them coming out with the same story? They saw 8 to 10 foot people inside this mall. That don't make any sense. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I mean, if they're in Miami, they probably were worried about all those people with Teslas clogging up the highway trying to get out.
Yeah.
No, I really, I don't think, I mean, clearly we talk about Nephilim and, paranormal activity, demons, and different types of species that the scripture talks about, kind of like an everyday conversation. But, I mean, I'll say I don't think the world's ready to experience that reality just yet. I mean, even the question would be, how ready are God's people to experience that reality on an everyday basis as well? So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, we know things are going to get crazy here towards the end before the millennial kingdom ushers in. But I mean, how crazy is it really going to get? I mean, that's the question. And how prepared are we?
I heard a crazy thought today, and I mean, it actually made me. Of course, I had to go back and look at scripture again, and I don't see it the way that this lady sees it. But when she said what she said, it literally made me take a step back and think. And she said, okay, what if we have been so lied to that the millennial reign of God's people has already taken place, and we are now in that short season where Satan is loosed again for a short season to deceive the nations before the Messiah and New Jerusalem actually descends. And that's why we see all of these buildings of great structures and all that stuff was being built during the millennial reign. And what we're calling Tartaria was actually the millennial reign of God's true people. And now that society has been so broken down because Satan has been released for a short season. Kind of messed me up for a minute. I'll tell you.
Well, that would be that'd put us right in the true end times, then, wouldn't it? I mean, that's the end time.
Yeah, that would be the end of the end. So
well, that would. Man, you can't just bomb that one on live air here. We got to have some time to prepare this thoughts on this one, because I mean, I was about to start shooting your praetorist mentality down. Thinking it's already ushered in, but with these gaps in history like that, I mean, I don't know. And what is that short period? We don't know if it was doesn't really say if it was a couple hundred years or if it was a week or whatever.
Well, it says for a short season is what our Bible says.
Yeah, I know it. I don't.
But she makes the point that at what other time in history? Because if you look at that book, the Chicago World's Fair, supposedly there's this statue out in the middle of this square there at the Chicago World's Fair that weighed several tons of pure gold. She said, at what other time in history could you be setting a statue made of pure gold out in the public and nobody trying to steal it, other than the Messianic age when everybody was living by Torah? So she made some really good points. I don't believe that she's right. There's a lot that leads us to know that she's not right, actually, because sin has remained, murder has remained. It has continued to reign upon everybody's lands, even though we haven't gone to Jerusalem 3 times a year. So all of those things, have to be fulfilled. But if you just listen to the initial things she threw out, it would mess you up if you didn't know the whole Bible. And that's why we have to be so careful. That's why we have to be so diligent about what we are allowing in our eyes and what we are allowing through our ears. I believe that we are so lied to right now that, like we were talking about 2 weeks ago, that we can literally see things and we'll lie to ourselves, because the worst lies in the world are the ones that we tell ourselves. I mean, like, the evidence is there. There was a mud flood. I don't know when that mud flood happened, but I know that there's 2 or 3 stories underground in a lot of these towns on these huge buildings. Why? Why is there windows, 3 stories deep? I mean, I'm a builder. You don't put windows 3 stories underground. There's no need for a window 3 stories underground. That doesn't make sense. So that confirms for me, at least in my mind, that there was a mud flood. And if there was a mud flood, why are they hiding that from us? Why is that not part of our history? Why is that not talked about? I saw a guy today in New Jersey. He was walking down the road, and he's at street level. You can clearly see him walking across the street, getting on the sidewalk, and then there's this half moon shape there with the bricks that are kind of rounded over, where right at street level the top of a window is there. So the mud flood came up to the top of the window, but rather than just to brick that off, they just left the window there and boarded it up. So he's looking in there and he's seeing the window boarded up. This stuff's just not making sense. What we're being told about our history is not adding up. And I think that the blinders are being pulled off. And that's how we're transitioning into that Messianic age. I believe that the Father is opening our spirits up, that He's not going to allow us to be lied to any longer. And that those things, when they are spoken to us, they're just going to resonate with us. We're going to be more easily able to accept them as truth and not believe the lie that we've been fed concerning it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there definitely has been a shift the last couple of years. You're talking about the intensity and frequencies, but yeah, there's definitely been a shift in us knowing the Father revealing some of these truths to us. It wasn't happening before COVID, but now after COVID, it's just intensified. I mean, you got new energies on. I mean, the Schumann resonance. I don't know if anybody pays attention to any of that stuff, but they do post that. They do post that occasionally. I see posts where the Earth gets hit with large frequencies and energy blasts, and I mean, it just seems and feels like we're upgrading, or He's just allowing us to see and know these things that we've never seen before. I mean, it's challenging us. It's challenging everybody, because it's challenging your spiritual walk. It's challenging your mental capacity. It's challenging your relationships. I mean, it's challenging everything. I mean, your whole thought process. Basically, what you thought you knew doesn't really seem like that's the truth anymore. And then, like when you lay in, when you lay in the Mandela effect, it feels like they're trying to erase some history that we're supposed to know, but they are erasing it and kind of rewriting our history so that we forget those things, if that makes sense.
Well, 100% makes sense to me, because as an old Pentecostal preacher growing up, though, when the Father started showing me Torah, I had to be able to let go of everything that I believed to be truth already at one point in my life, because I stood behind a pulpit for years teaching something that I 100% believed to be the truth. And then the Father starts opening my eyes to Torah, and now I had to let all of that stuff go. And I'll tell you, it cost me friends, it cost me family, it cost me everything. And now here we are again. It seems like we're going through this spiritual awakening again on a different level, where not only is he revealing to us his word in a deeper way, he's revealing to us our literal reality in a different way. And letting us realize that the world has been lying to us. It isn't just about our religion. It's literally about everything. So Chris said, I remember one time at Fifth Sabbath, Chris and a guy named, I don't want to, what was his first name? We'll say Josh. It was Josh. I don't want to say his last name because I don't want to out him here on on Tenth of Israel. But they were standing around, talking conspiracy theory type stuff. And one of them, I can't remember whether it was Chris or Josh, one said, what if, 300 years ago, the powers of the world decided that they were going to rewrite our history and everything, and not just one thing, but everything we know is now a lie, because they reset our world history, and they reset our mind, and they moved people that were here in the United States over to Europe, and they moved people that were over in Europe over here to the United States to throw us off our geographical planes. So the people who knew the history here now don't know the history, so they're not passing on that history to the people that are now in Europe. And now the people that were in Europe are in the United States, so they're not passing on European history. They're trying to create their own history here in the United States. So it would have been an easy way for the powers of the world to absolutely control what is known in history. And then we see the Catholic Church burning Alexandria, which is basically burning every public book that we have to show where we came from and what our true history is. And then we find, these caves, outside in the Judean desert in a place called Qumran, where we find all of these scrolls and all of this stuff rolled up, and it has some of our history there. And, we start finding, caves underground in Russia and different places around the world that are revealing new maps. I mean, these are old maps, but they're new maps to us. So we're learning more and more. The fathers just said, everything that's done in secret will be brought into the light. And I think this Satan is having to reveal himself at this time. And for those who are in tune with the Spirit, when they see these things, because our frequency is different, we begin to resonate with the truth a lot more than we begin to resonate with the lie. So even though it's difficult for us to, stand in front of our friends and our family with this stuff, we know it to be the truth. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, just kind of going back with, you talking about, having to relearn truth. And I guess not really relearn it, but really understand what it is. Coming to Torah, I guess right around I guess it would have been right there to 08, 09, to where, read through the Bible, have been to church, and then all of a sudden it's like you read it and it's like, I've missed all this. And, you realize that you had believed the lie and it had been handed to us, and that your mind just comes to, like we were talking about, a shift or a new awakening.
Uh-huh.
And that it appears to me, and I guess that was a post you made earlier about the exile being, I think it was you that posted that, about the exile being over here in that 2008 to 2010 window for the
Right.
Syrian captivity or dispersion. So, and it's like, to me, it seems pretty clear that, I'm looking back at our Torah portion this week as Moses is coming into Egypt and it's time for the people to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they remembered who the Most High was, and they remembered that they were the people of the Most High. But they a life that was consecrated or holy. And as Moses came into the people and reminded them of the covenants that were made through our fathers, they began to have to consecrate themselves. And as they were brought out of Egypt, they came out and they began to learn and understand what it meant to say that he's a holy God and that we're a holy nation. And I just see that this transition away from, this lawless mentality that, those who call themselves followers of the Messiah, but yet forsake the commandments that he taught so diligently and so perfectly, that it's just a higher level or a shift into a different dimension of holiness for God's people right now. And that's why I think that chasm you talked about that's being separated us from the world, those who keep the commandments of God or Elohim and the testimony of Yeshua, separating those people who are Israelites from the rest of the world. And it's to make that distinction, either you're with us or you're against us, because that's what the master said himself. You're going to be either hot or cold, not lukewarm. So you're either for me or you're against me. So, and that's just that, like you say, I call it a higher awareness if you want to, but I call it a more consecrated state that we all need to get to, that the world is showing its colors. And now there's no blending of the societies. Either you're going to be of the Father and you're going to be of his kingdom, or you're going to be of the kingdom of Satan, because the gray area, it seems to me, is disappearing, especially in just the times of not knowing what reality is with the mind games or the psyop or whatever you want to call it. That, Messiah said he was the truth and he was the way and he's the life, just as the Torah says that. And that's how we're going to be able to distinguish what the truth is versus the lie. And, that we just need, as God's people, to consecrate ourselves more to him, because times are about to get crazy. I mean, we all talked about it earlier. We feel it coming. We have this anticipation. We have this excitement, but yet there's still, at least within me, of, are we prepared enough? Because if you're not prepared
I thought you was about
to
break into a Phil Collins song there for a minute. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
We can talk about music frequencies later. I don't listen to that stuff. But yeah, good one. Oh, you dirty dog. But yeah, no, I'm with you, man. There's a shift. There's a shift coming, man. And God's people, we've got to separate ourselves. We've got to consecrate. I mean, he demands it of us. He commands us to. So that's where I'm at right now.
We absolutely do. And here's the thing. Whenever there is this polar shift in the spiritual realm, because we are so connected with the earth, and I've been teaching on frequency a lot here lately, and the earth's frequency is 7.83 is the earth's frequency. And most people don't realize that human resonance also is 7.83. So we are literally on the same frequency as the earth. And so if sin is resonating in us, then sin is also resonating in the earth, because I don't know if y'all have ever seen the experiment where you take like a 440 tuning fork and you put a 526 tuning fork beside it. It won't do anything to the 441. But if you take another 440 tuning fork and you ring it and you hold it next to the 440, it'll resonate. And the next thing you know, both tuning forks are resonating at the same frequency with each other. That's what happens with human beings. That's why we talk about it all the time. If you walk into a room where, 10 minutes ago there was this huge argument, even though maybe the two people who were in the argument are now perfectly fine with each other. They've worked their argument out. But because that frequency still remains in that room, that tension that was brought about through that argument, because it still remains there, you could walk into that room and go, whoa, what in the world was going on in here? Because you can literally feel that negative frequency. The same is true with the positive frequency. I don't know how many people has ever been in a bad mood and then they walk in the house and everybody's in an upbeat, great mood. And you're thinking when you first walk in, it's a lot harder for that negative mood to get turned into the positive mood. But if the positive mood stays there, it will start affecting that negative mood. And it'll bring that negative mood up into that positive realm as well. And so we need to realize that everything that God created, he said that, and that thing said means that there was a frequency that was released. And God said, let there be light. Okay. So a frequency caused light. And God said, let the earth bring forth fruit. So the frequency coming in contact with matter is what brought forth trees and herbs and fish and bird and all of that kind of stuff. So frequency interacting with matter is literally what brought about life. So when we start speaking to ourselves, and the scripture says, know you not that you have the power of life and death in your tongue? So when we are speaking at a higher frequency, when we are speaking life to people, we can speak healing to them. We can resonate that frequency of healing with them if we begin to be positive, when we start claiming those things. He said, if you had the faith of a grain of mustard seed, that you could speak unto the mountain, and the mountain would be plucked up and cast into the sea. I believe those things are literal. I believe that because we are created in His image, because He created us with frequency, that we also now have that ability to use that frequency. We, just because of sin, have been lowered. Our frequency has been lowered to a place that is not resonating where it needs to resonate. And when we start resonating at a higher frequency, when we start resonating at God's frequency, on that spiritual frequency, and I think that that's what's going on here. I think the blocks, those walls that have been separating us from the spiritual realm, is coming down, that the scales are being removed from our eyes, and that we're being able to peer into the spiritual realm in a more prevalent way. And it's going to look all messy right here at the beginning. You're going to see all kinds of false prophecies and all kinds of false witnesses and all of this kind of stuff. And they're not really false. They're just unlearned because it's so foreign, because we've been so cut off from it for so long, that we're going to have to walk in grace with each other for the next couple of years and allow that tuning process of His true people to be coming in tune with the Holy Spirit. When that starts happening, then we will speak His Torah from His holy mountain, and the whole world will recognize what we are saying. That is how we transition into the Messianic age. It's not by our head knowledge. It's not by how much we can spit Torah out on somebody. That's not what does it. It's us coming into alignment with God. When we come into alignment with His frequency and we begin to resonate on that same frequency as Him, then everything that comes out of us is resonating Him to the rest of the world. And I think that that's why we see scriptures such as, know you not that you are God's? We are His created being. I know I'm going to open a can of worms here, but Genesis 1, He creates humans. He creates male and female, and just like the dogs, He tells them, go be fruitful and multiply. Get on out of here and go multiply. Replenish. Why does He say replenish the earth there? All right, we need to do a show on that one. Replenish the earth. But then we see Him rest on the seventh day. And then it says, and then He planted a garden eastward of Eden. Okay, so now we now we have to realize that He's created something of Himself. And it says that He formed Adam from the dust of the ground. So He formed something out of matter. And then it says that He ruached. He breathed into Adam the breath of life, and Adam became a living soul. You don't have a soul, you are a soul. Because His frequency, if you are part of His people, His frequency has come in literal contact with that matter, that you are now His people and you resonate at His frequency. It is only sin that is holding you down at an animal's frequency. We're not animals. We are created in God's image. We're something different. And we need to begin to realize that and start resonating at that frequency. And when we do, oh my goodness. But because of this spiritual shift and this veil being torn down, it's like the whole earth is groaning right now. The whole earth is crying out. I mean, natural disaster after natural disaster has been happening since November of last year. I mean, volcanoes erupting, tsunamis. I'll play some of those videos here in a minute, but before I do, I'm going to let these two guys jump in here because I just kind of got on a little rant there, and let them further that thought process a little bit.
Well, that's how they create. That's how they create the volcanoes and stuff. That's through frequencies. You know, you can change the frequencies of these underground, you know, uh, volcano systems. You know, I think that's how they're doing it. They're changing the frequencies, and these things are popping off. Yeah, it's like you said, it's all about frequencies and energies and just who's controlling it. I guess that's
Well,
the main
the whole
question.
HARP thing, they're not even trying to hide that anymore. There's a video of a guy standing out in a field away from HARP, and he goes, "Watch this." And he's got big old headphones on because the noise is deafening, even with the headphones on, where they start putting this cloud out. And he says, this is a rain cloud that I think he says Indiana or something, that in 4 hours, it's going to rain in Indiana. And then they show the video. In 4 hours later, it rains in Indiana. They literally know how to manipulate the weather, and it's all through frequency and resonance and putting frequency in contact with matter. I remember as a young kid, there was two news works for you, and there was this weather guy on the news, and he would go around in the summertime from school or during the school year, from school to school, and he would do these demonstrations. I remember at Stillwell, Oklahoma, watching this guy on the stage create a tornado. I mean, he literally created a tornado inside the gym on the stage. They had this technology when I was a little kid. Now they're doing it on a grander scale. What's been going through my mind here lately, and I'll see if it resonates with you guys, is what if, because we've been talking conspiracy theory about all these chemtrails and all this kind of stuff they're putting in the sky. What if those aren't really chemtrails, but there are things appearing in certain parts of the sky that they don't want us to see? So they seed the sky with these clouds in particular areas where these things are going to show up, so the people on the earth can't see what's actually in the sky that night. So we're looking at is clouds, even though there's no rain, even though there's no reason for those clouds to be there. But because airplanes have been seeding it all day long with these chemtrails, now you can't see the night sky. That's kind of what's been going through my mind here lately, that there's something appearing in the sky that would let us all know, and the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds in great glory. When we start seeing that sign appear, I think that the powers that be are trying to hide that sign from us. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I've heard that before. That a lot of the aircraft, a lot of them have that cloaking technology, but not all of them do, and so they do have to be. There's a lot of, let's just say, military exercises are going above us, and they don't want us seeing it. So, but
yeah,
definitely tell when there's a mission or something, because they go in there day and night, and I mean they'll just run chemtrails. It's just crazy. Sit there and watch them. But yeah, I think they're disguising what they're doing above us so we don't see it.
Yeah, me and Crescent in Florida was looking at it last night. They literally had this is still Oklahoma. There's nothing here. I mean, seriously. I mean, what are you going to do? Make some chicken sick? There's literally nothing here. So, I mean, you're going to waste billions of dollars trying to get a few pigs and a few chickens sick, but it looked like a checkerboard in the sky. There were, just crisscrossed chemtrails. Literally looked like you could play chess in the sky with the way it was checked up. And Crescent made the comment that that looked freaky. It looked like there was a battle going on, and they were firing at each other, and it did. I mean, that's what it looked like. So I know that I'm going to jump over here and play these videos real quick, and then we'll talk about that a little bit further. So, Chris, gather your thoughts. I'll have to narrate these videos, but let's pull them back up here.
Somebody suggested you move your microphone over there by your speaker. I don't know if that would work.
I actually could put one of my earbuds up to the microphone. That'd probably work.
I think that was Miss Mahala's suggestion earlier.
Okay, so this video right here is Africa splitting. Okay, so that is Johannesburg, South Africa. Big Fisher has, I mean, several miles long, has opened up. Some places 50, 150 feet deep. That they say the continent is literally splitting into two different continents right now.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Mm.
That's Kenya. Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so that's one. Now we'll jump over here to this one. That's not normal.
No.
Nothing normal about that. Here's another one. Okay, so this is in Iceland. Another crack open up. And this is just this year. Literally forming new mountains and opening up new valleys. So kind of a prophetic thing. See the smoke rising out of it as well? That's kind of crazy.
Hmm.
So they think that that there's going to be a huge volcano erupting really quick here where this fissure's opening up. And then let's jump on this one. This is in Japan right after the earthquake. Mudslides. That could be how, you know, our mud flood happened. Something like that right there. See, and it's like the whole earth is just liquefying underneath it.
Wow.
It's craziness. Now let's look at this one.
Yeah, it kind of makes me glad I live in a flat area.
Yeah. This is Japan right here. The tsunami that came right after the 7 whatever earthquake.
What day was that earthquake on?
The first or the second?
Yeah, was it the other? How many? Do you know how many tsunamis there were on the first?
I know that we had them. They had them in Japan, and we had them here in the United States. We had several over that 3-day period from the first to the third.
Well, I hadn't seen this video. Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty scary right there.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Everybody wants to live by the ocean, not me.
I'm with you on that one, Chris. I don't want to be nowhere near that wicked beast.
No, look at that, man. That's why it's called the Wicked Yam.
Okay. Now here's this one.
Wow. Look at that.
Tsunami in Japan.
Come on.
This is people on the ground. Why they're still there, I don't know. But I mean, you look up and there's a house heading towards you.
Hmm.
Now imagine a 150-foot tall wave coming at you. How much of a mud flood would that create?
Hmm. You don't even try to run from that.
Yeah, you can't run from that. There's no way to get out of that. Just find something. Hopefully, you don't go underneath. You just stay on top.
So just get on your knees and say, "Here I come."
Yeah. So I mean, those are whole houses being swept away.
Wow, man. Is that video fast forwarded, or is it really that fast?
No, it's that fast.
Wow.
Okay. I got just a few more here. Look at those houses moving. That's the earthquake itself.
Goodness gracious. So if we were to put a prophetic occurrence on this, would it be like the bowls? I wouldn't see it as the bowls, but maybe some seals being broken or some trumpets being blasted. I mean, what are we thinking here, Mr. Gillespie?
I didn't hear you. It's too loud in my ear because I'm trying to turn it up for everybody else.
I got you. Okay, I got you. I can't hear any of the video.
Okay, and then that's Iceland again. Oh no, sorry, that's Japan. Japan's now had a fissure open up in it as well. So all of that will start caving in the same way it did in South Africa and the same way it did in Iceland as well. It'll start turning under as well. But it's the very Earth's crust itself is cracking from this stuff. That's what's crazy.
Wow.
Okay, now let's look at this one. This is Iceland.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Okay. This is Japan. Look at that cement moving like it's breathing almost. Okay, so this video right here, one of the largest sea eruptions we've ever had. It's literally created a new island off of Japan's coast. Just basically overnight. Okay, and I got one more, I think, here.
Oh.
That was an eruption this year.
Hmm.
Now there's several eruptions that they're showing. All right, so Let's see. I want to play this. I think it's this one. This was just last week in California. And then this one.
I hadn't seen a lot of these. It's crazy.
That's the tsunami in Ventura. Let's see. Look how high that wave is, all the way up to the bottom of the pier. Okay. And I'm trying to find a specific video, but okay, this is the one I was talking about with CERN. So look at what's going on in the sky there as they fire up CERN. Tell me that's not opening a portal or something.
Yeah.
But they're saying it's just a thunderstorm.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that'd be a wicked thunderstorm, wouldn't it? Wow, look at that. When was this footage right here, James?
Last year.
On the CERN.
Yeah,
That was
last year,
CERN
the
last
last
year?
time they fired up CERN.
Wow.
And the guy, if you listen to him, he's saying he saw something come out of that hole when it opened up.
Abaddon.
Yeah, something for sure.
Apollyon.
And then, okay, here's my big conspiracy theory video for the night. I'm not even going to comment on it.
Oh boy.
All right, that's my last video. Let me get these guys back on the screen. All right, so I mean, literally, like the earth itself is breaking up around us. Natural disasters, one right after the next. I believe that we're going to continue to see that kind of stuff for the rest of the year. I think as long as this spiritual awakening is happening, it's literally shaking the foundations of the earth. And we're going to see that stuff continue. What say you, gentlemen?
Oh, I definitely agree. I think it's a power struggle between good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
I think evil had a lot more power than we thought they did.
Well, I think that that's the case. I think that this transition is happening the exact way that God planned it to happen, at the exact timing that He planned it to happen. if I have correctly interpreted the scriptures, 2029, we're going to see some major stuff happening. 2036, we're going to see, I believe, the end of this thing, that great battle, that Armageddon thing. 2037, fully be engaged in the Messianic age. If I have correctly interpreted the scriptures, I think it's clear. I don't see anywhere. And here's the crazy thing. Because I listen to conspiracy theory, because I listen to a lot of this other stuff, I don't know one person, not Nostradamus, not any of these supposed prophets over the last 400 or 500 years that we've recorded, that predict anything past 2037. Why? Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they can't see it.
That's the thing, because once the Messianic age starts, the Satan has no more authority. He's going to be chained in the bottomless pit. He's not going to know what's going on. He's chained up. He's not able to deceive the nations anymore. He's not able to do anything for 1,000 years. So for that 1,000 years, he's basically going to be blinded. And I believe that that's why none of these even false prophets are which I don't know that Nostradamus was a false prophet. Basically, everything that he predicted has come to pass. I just know what I feel in my spirit, that this year is going to be a really rough year for those who aren't fully trusting in God. It's going to be a proving year. For those that are truly trusting in God, he's going to make a way where there seems to be no way. And it's going to surpass our understanding. For those who are leaning on their own strength and their own understanding, I believe that this is going to be one of the most devastating years that they're going to experience for a long time. I believe this year is going to tear them to pieces, financially, physically, health-wise, with all the earth stuff that's going on. They're going to buy into the whole climate change. The deception is going to grow stronger in their life. So what I'm telling you is, get serious before God. Start asking him to help you resonate at his frequency, to start opening the word up to you in ways that you can begin to understand him in a deeper way. I think as we transition here, that we've got to question everything. I mean, everything. I'm not a flat earther, and those who know me know that I'm not a flat earther. But you know what? I'm looking into flat earth right now. I'm not of this and I'm not of that, because I'm just not. I've studied different things, but I'm looking into everything because I don't know what you can't know what you don't know. And if you're not willing to take in information that opposes what you think you know, then you're never going to grow. You're going to stay exactly where you were. And one thing I know about Judaism, we study to prove ourselves wrong. We don't study to prove ourselves right. So everything that I think I know, I'm trying to prove myself wrong. I want to study those things to prove myself wrong, because one of two things: either I am going to prove myself wrong and I'm going to move into a higher understanding, or I'm going to solidify what I knew to be right, even at a deeper level. And I think that that's what we have to do to trust the Father. You guys got anything?
That's true.
I agree with that.
A few years ago, I got into this rabbit hole on the moon landing. I'm telling you, I got good friends who I mean, they're sold out. They believe we landed on the moon, and I don't I don't want to burst their bubble, but we didn't land on the moon. There's no possible way we landed on the moon. It's just it's an impossibility. in fact, I was watching I think just tonight, how rockets, when they take off, they turn and they rotate every time they take off, because if they go straight up, they'll end up running into something that, whether it's outer space or what. I mean, how many knows that if I take all the oxygen away from a fire, what happens to that fire?
Goes out.
It goes out. So a rocket supposedly burning in outer space, but not only burning in outer space, but able to reignite in outer space. That doesn't make sense. It just without to. I mean, I know you could put tanks of oxygen and squirt oxygen and fuel together. I know the science on it, okay, but it just doesn't make sense. Okay, there's just so much that don't make sense. The Van Allen belt. How do we get through the Van Allen belt when we don't have a material known to man that can withstand that radiation? I don't know. But supposedly we did this in the 60s. I don't know, guys. I think it's just like the old who said, was it Tom Petty, filmed in the Hollywood basement?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, yeah, filmed in a Hollywood basement. I think that's exactly what we got to see. I think we are, orbiting the Earth. I think that we are there, but we're in low Earth orbit. We're not. And anybody who understands how that works, you fly up into the sky, you turn and go the same rotation as the Earth. And if you're going the same speed as the Earth, then you don't fall out of the sky. Whether you're going flat circle like this or round circle like this, I don't know. I've never been up that high, so I'm an I don't know earther. I really am. But I know that we as believers need to start trusting our own eyes. And there are things that are coming to light right now that we're having to question, like this mud flood thing in the last year. These buildings that we don't have the technology to build today. We built them in 1 year and tore them down for what reason? I mean, millions of tons of marble. We just tore them down, and for what reason? And where's the marble at? Where's all that at? I mean, it's just craziness that we have been lied to about everything, and we're going to have to start sorting that stuff out. I think the Father's allowing it all to come to light now, because just like the Mandela effect, what we started off with tonight, there's this one thing. When you start going over the different Mandela effects with people, mine was Jiffy peanut butter. I know that's what started me on the whole Mandela thing, because when I was a kid, we were poor. We were really poor, lived on food stamps. Okay, and my grandmother would ask us boys when she would go to the stores, because she'd only go to the store twice a month. She would go, we got one item. What do you want me to get you from the grocery store? It was kind of like our treat. And I would always ask for Jiffy peanut butter, because I hated that old commodity dry peanut butter. I just didn't like it. So I would always ask for a jar of Jiffy peanut butter. And I remember the commercial. Choosy moms choose Jiffy peanut butter. I remember everything about that peanut butter and why I liked it. But in this reality, Jiffy peanut butter never existed. It's Jif peanut butter. So when I found that out, that's what started me on the whole Mandela effect. That was the one lie that was exposed to me. My brother's was the movie Shazam. I don't know what Chris or Ryan's was. What was that one thing that set you guys off?
Mine was the lamb lays down with the wolf.
Yeah, scripture.
Instead of the lion lays down with the lamb. But yeah, that was where I first heard about it. Somebody said the scriptures were changing, and I was like, yeah, I ain't buying all that.
Yeah,
but it does say
that came about later.
Yeah, there's some of those scriptures though. They say don't put that old wine skin in old wine bottles, and that just doesn't make any sense. Or don't put that. I'm sorry. Don't put new wine in old bottles. And it's like, well, you can do that. That doesn't make any sense. The bottles
That's how I
won't
make
burst.
wine. That's how I
Yeah, I
make
know.
wine. I put.
Yeah, that's how you do it. It's like, what do you mean? So, yeah, that was my first. That was my first one years ago.
Yeah, the lion and the lamb. Now it's a wolf and the lamb. That would make sense. And the wineskins. That was a big one as well. But those actually came out later. The first one for me was the Jiffy. You remember what it was for you, Ryan?
No, I don't quite remember. Didn't Chick-fil-A change their? Wasn't there something with Chick-fil-A too?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A logo. The Berenstain Bears, which I remember. I used to read those kids. My wife's mother gave us those books. But I guess my wife grew up on those books. So when we started having kids, she gave us those books, and I would read those books to my kids when they were babies. I know that those were the Berenstain Bears because they were German bears. They were. Yeah. I don't know what a Berenstain Bear is. I mean, is it you killed it? Now it's just a stain? I don't know. I don't know what that is. But my point to all of that is, with all of these lies that are being exposed, whether it's the moon landing, whether it's Antarctica, whether it's the Earth crust breaking apart, the world fairs, I believe that there's going to be one thing. And the reason the Father is exposing all these lies is there's going to be that one thing that pushes a person's mind too far, and they go, no, that is not the way that was. That is not the truth. And it's going to make them tumble down that rabbit hole. And when it does, they're going to find God in ways that they never knew that he existed, because he's going to start ripping all of those lies out of them, and they're going to start walking in the truth that he's got set before them. And honestly, I mean, it doesn't matter if it was Jiffy ice or Jiffy peanut butter or Jif peanut butter. It's still the best tasting peanut butter in the world. It just messes with me that the names changed, So those kinds of things, we're just going to have to be very attentive and be gentle. I mean, because what happened when we all started realizing the Torah was the truth, and we got pulled out of the Christian church, we got on the other side of that bridge. I tell people one of my favorite paintings is the one with the two little kids walking across the bridge, and there's a storm raging in the background, and you can see some of the parts of the bridge are broken down. That's one of my favorite works of art, and there's this angel hovering over the back of them, making sure that they're going to make it across that bridge. That's kind of where we're at right now. But we're coming across the bridge, but we're getting across on the other side. We take a match and we strike it and throw it down on the bridge, so ain't gonna nobody else going to follow us. Because we're getting to the other side, and we're just making everybody mad. Tell them they're a bunch of liars and don't know God. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, just concerning the names. Now I know his name's Yeshua. I know that the Father's name is Yahweh. So I don't want to try to say that it's not. But I told this person, and I mean it with my whole heart, there is no devil in hell going to convince me that I didn't meet the Messiah calling out on the name of Jesus. There's no devil in hell going to convince me that I wasn't filled with the Holy Spirit calling out on the name of Jesus. Okay, so I did it in ignorance for sure. Now I have a deeper understanding. I have a greater knowledge of that. But when we walk across that bridge and we start telling people that they're not saved because they're not pronouncing the name right, I question who's really dwelling in your heart. I really do. Because how can you tell somebody that they're not born again because they're not pronouncing a name right? What about somebody who can't speak or can't hear? They can't make it to heaven? That's just nonsense in my mind. And you guys got anything before we burn rubber out of here?
No, I agree with that last statement for sure.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, we got to be gentle because there's going to be a lot of things that people are going to get really hurt on. And one thing we haven't touched on is these celebrities and movie stars and music singers are all licked, and people look up to all these people as role models and idols, and when they find out what's going on, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, the Epstein list came out the 3rd, so hopefully everybody's checked that out. Have you heard about the big black preacher down there in Texas? What's his name?
DJ Jakes.
TD Jakes. Yeah.
TD Jakes is going down in a ball of flame right now. So supposedly he's been involved in all this sex scandal stuff and running around with P. Diddy, gay sex, underage sex, all kinds of stuff. God's going to expose his own people first. I'm going to tell you that. So you just get ready for it. All these people are claiming to be children of God. He's going to expose them, just shine a flashlight on them, and we're seeing that happen. It's evil, and he's going to expose it because these people need to be exposed. Supposedly Oprah Winfrey got arrested somewhere over in another country for child trafficking, and now is released and back in the United States, which, I mean, there's different stories about that even as well. But a lot of these people are going, like Ryan just said, they're going down in a ball of flame, and they're being exposed. I mean, there's been more people exposed in the last 3 to 5 years than ever in the history that I've been alive anyways. I mean, somebody said today, that Epstein's not dead, that they basically hid him, took him out of the prison and hid him away with all this. But I'm going to tell you who scares me more than Epstein. And I think when it comes out, it's going to be a big deal. What's the guy's name that owns Virgin Air? Virgin Mobile?
Oh, Richard Branson? Richard Branson or Branson?
That dude, there is something evil about that guy. I mean, straight up evil. I don't know what it is, but that spirit I feel on that guy every time I see him, there's something really off with that guy. So I think.
What a lot of people don't realize too is just Epstein had an island, but all of them down there, a bunch of them they all had islands too. Biden's had island, they had an island. Oprah Winfrey's got an island. It's not just Epstein, and they say other things happen in those other islands that are probably worse than what happened there. So we just got they just kind of knocked the top off this thing. We ain't even got to the bottom of it yet.
Yeah, I've heard people say that Epstein's island was just like the introductory to child molestation. These other islands, they were actually doing snuff films with these kids and killing them and like raping them to death and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just, I guess there's a name for it. I don't even know what the name is, but supposedly, I call it a snuff film. That's what it was called when I was a kid. Basically, they had sex with somebody and then killed them afterwards. But this is different than even that. Supposedly, they are just so violently fornicating with these children, it's just killed them. I mean, it's sick. This is a sick world we live in. It's not even a joke, but I say often, Father, if you don't do something pretty quick, you owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. Because this world is getting wicked. I mean, and it's not just one city anymore. It's the world. I think it's getting to that place of pre-flood Noah, that the world itself has become corrupt before the Father. I just hope that I fit into that category, that I'm perfect in my generations and I'm allowed to remain. That's where I want to be, and I hope that that's where everybody listening to us tonight wants to be. If you guys got anything before I sign us out of here?
Yeah, one more thing. The closer we get to these disclosures, the closer we get to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Obama, these false flags are going to just pop off. So I mean, we really got to be prepared because they had that the Epstein list was being released, and then all of a sudden we got a shooting in Iowa. I mean,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. I mean, you really got to keep your head on a swivel because it just as we progress into this disclosure period, man, it's just really going to get tough. And when it drops and I don't know if it'll ever drop about Clinton and that frazzle drip, but if that ever comes out with her and Ahmadine, I mean, that's some sick stuff, what she did. And that stuff starts dropping. I mean, that's when the lights are going to go out and power's going to go out and the internet's going to go out because they're not going to want that stuff out. And they're already trying all they can to stop it. So, we just, like I said, got to be prepared for anything because it could be anything. It could be any, we could have a big earthquake or we could have a tsunami or power outages or bank runs or anything. We just got to be prepared.
They're trying to prep us right now for a big solar flare, supposedly going to knock the power and the grid out for a year. That's the underlying message that they're trying to get over everybody. And so I heard a statistic today that the number one preppers in the United States right now, new preppers in the United States, are 18 to 26 year olds. So they're starting to see the writing on the wall as well. When just a few years ago, them old people, they're freaking out. The world's going to run over. Now they're the ones out there prepping, buying up everything. So us old people can't get it anymore. But it's you're exactly right. The whole Epstein thing, I knew it was supposed to come out after the first of the year. I knew that judge had ordered that it come out after the first of the year. But because of the tsunamis, because of the earthquakes, because of the shootings, because of all of that stuff going on, all that background noise, I forgot about it and didn't even realize it had come out until today. And it's been out since the 3rd. So 2 days. It's just, and that's what they do. It's the magician's trick. Don't look at this hand, look at this hand. That way you're not paying attention. And that's exactly what's happening. When we start seeing, all of their Cat Williams, that vile thing. Evidently, I saw something right before we came on the air that people are in the black community are saying pray for Cat Williams because they're not expecting him to live. So, because evidently he just laid the Illuminati stuff bare publicly. And told a bunch of stuff on them. So now I got to go investigate all that when we get off the air. But, I don't know. Most people don't even know who Cat Williams is, but he's a funny comedian when I was a kid. A little old skinny black guy, but used to foul. So you don't think I'm recommending him because he's foul mouthed and. But the black community heralds him as a truth teller. And evidently he's been bucking the system and he just let the whole cat out of the bag evidently in the last couple of days, and they're worried that he's not going to survive it because he's specifically talking about the Illuminati. But this is what God said. I mean, he said those things that are done in the secret will be brought into the light, and everything's being brought into the light. And if we're in the light, we're going to be paying attention to that. If you're not paying attention to it and you're just trying to make it through your life, I don't know that you're hearing the voice of Yahweh. I don't. I'm not saying you need to be wrapped up in conspiracy theory all day long, but you do need to be paying attention to your surroundings. You got to have your head on a swivel, because I mean, if the stuff like Brian's talking about, the Clintons, the Obamas. I think we're seeing the third term of Obama right now. Biden is a puppet. Everybody knows that. I mean, he's a brain dead puppet. That's not the president of the United States. You got Obama running that whole ship from the background. We know that that's happening. Just watch when he's in the White House. People are talking to him. They're not even talking to Biden. They know who's running the show. The rest of it, and that's just exactly what it is. It's a show. It's a show put on for us. And we need to realize what's going on, because it's not just the United States. If you start looking outside the United States, this stuff is happening on a global scale. If it was just happening in the United States, I'd go, yeah, conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's happening all over the world. So we better be like those prairie dogs and be sticking our heads up out of our holes every once in a while, looking around, because it might come near our dwelling. All right. Well, with that said, we love you, but not as much as Yahweh does. We're going to burn rubber out of here. I don't even know how we got so late again, but we get talking about conspiracy theories. We can go for hours and hours and hours, but let's not go for another one. So we love you. We'll see you the next time on Tents of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. We will burn rubber out of here.